seriously with the bandwidth, with so much bandwidth, so much. What is it? A Sunday?
It is indeed.
It is. It's not going to tell me.
December 18th.
December 18th. It did tell me. Oh, we're up here in the studio.
Sanctum.
The upper sanctum, studio sanctum. And Luke and I were just talking about a whole bunch of things that probably we all ought to talk about. But today I wanted to discuss some of the feedback that I got quite recently from a dear person in the Northwest. A really nice, was a text message. And I had several takeaways from this feedback, which was really, really gracious feedback from someone who actually was enjoying what we're doing.
Yeah.
Now, someday we'll graduate to getting plenty of displeased people. I don't know. So far, the only displeased people I could think of would be grumpy industry ego mongers and probably people who feel infringed by us exposing the abuse of children. So I mean, we're pretty bulletproof. Yeah. Hey, there's Jay Sloan on the Facebook Live. So we're gonna go ahead and start up a Podbean episode while we're chatting with you guys, and then we'll sign off of Facebook, and we'll leave the balance of it on Podbean for what it's worth. And so we'll start up the Podbean, and then we're gonna dive into this feedback that we got.
Is your lavalier on?
No. See, you would definitely want to remember the lavy. All right.
My lavicle.
Lavatory. All right, so here we go. All right, it's registering time in seconds. That means that the Podbean is on. We've got a Facebook Live fired up here on Sunday, the 18th of December. It's about 3:30 in the afternoon, 3:23.
Right.
And
the sun is going down.
It's still pretty shiny out there, but not that I'm going to look at any of it. It is true that I definitely need to get out, start running, because when that colder weather hits, I tend to just kind of hunker down for a couple of months. Not a great habit, really. We brought up a coffee pot. What is that?
Is it a carafe?
It's a carafe is usually an open top. This is one of those push on the top of it styles. Man, that, it's made of shiny metal. It's supposed to, So our apologies to the Podbean crowd who will hear the slurping of our coffee, and if I can find it, they'll hear the quiet gurglings of our vape delios. I think I left it downstairs. It's fine. I've got old ones and backups up here. Oh. I know, dude.
It's fine.
I'm an idiot. Yeah, that's not burnt.
No, it's nice.
It might be a little burnt. So,
what was the context of the feedback that we got?
I'm just gonna be spitballing from my brain.
Yeah. I do have it pulled up if we.
Yeah, keep it pulled up.
I will.
And let me know if I kind of get the gist.
Go ahead.
The gist of it was this dear person who I really do love and respect a lot. I really enjoyed some time with this person. They're from the Northwest, and they're a relatively new skateboarder. And he just really liked the part of a podcast where I talked about when Luke was beginning and how I said, bro, you gotta get your shoulders turned the right direction before you be, head firsting into 13-foot bowls, just for the roll in. You know what I mean? Look, you want to take a minute to react to what I just said? Was it fair?
No, it's absolutely fair. It was. If I were you, I would have treated me much more harshly because it was so dangerous looking back now. Now that I have a little bit of mileage on me, I'm like, oh God, dude. And I definitely did. It was not like a front side roll on. It was like straight down the middle, Ben Schroeder style. And I definitely had my shoulders completely perpendicular to my board, and it is a miracle that I did not die seriously.
And what we're discussing specifically, what the intention of this feedback wasn't that we discussed this particular aspect of technical skateboarding. It was that as a beginning skateboarder, as a person who loves skateboarding as a thing to do but doesn't have a clue about how to do it, type of style of position, that I'm really curious about insights like those, because I never thought of them, I wouldn't think of them, and most of the mainstream skateboard media is filled with like how to heel flip like Ishad Ware, which, by the way, that's Local Joe's YouTube, is really fun for how to come into tricks and things like that. If getting tricks and like that is really fun for you. Sad fact, getting tricks and like that is not really fun for me. You know, segue to 6 months from now when I'm doing heel flips like Ishad Ware and Ian Williams, because I watched Local Joe.
Yes.
I love that stuff.
Yes.
I like that stuff. But the stuff I really feel is like this one aspect, which is specifically when you're walking, your whole life, when you walk, when you run, when you ski.
Yeah.
A lot of when you roller skate, when you rollerblade, we move with our shoulders perpendicular to the direction of movement. That is, our shoulders are right angle across. You know, we form a T with our shoulders to the direction we're going. And usually our nose points in that direction and our shoulders are 90 degrees. You know, I mean, that's just how people move.
Yes.
Like our whole lives.
It makes sense.
Even when you're a baby and you're crawling, your shoulders are straight across.
Yeah.
And then when you get into surfing or skateboarding or even snowboarding, now you're moving sideways and your head has to be turned. You know, you have to have your head turned, and what your shoulders do dictates aspects of performance. Not saying that your shoulders can't come around, but like you're gonna be turning 90 if your shoulders are turning 90.
Yes.
Your balance is going to be divided between the direction of your feet and the stance of your shoulders, yada yada yada.
Yes.
So we were talking about that, and Luke feels that I've treated him very fairly in that.
No, I
It's
do.
Very nice.
You were very kind.
Or am I telling him how to feel?
Well,
Do
I
have
don't know,
this much
whatever,
power?
dude. If it is, then I like it. Keep doing it.
I'm just here giving it my best.
Yeah. No, there was one time we went to Dry Ridge and I was banging around. You know how the snake run at Dry Ridge, if you hit that thing Mach 10 at the speed which it will allow you to run at, the catch on the end of it, you know, you go down the big waterfall at the end, but the quarter pipe at the bottom doesn't have any coping on it, and it's like 3.5 feet high. So it's like if you come down that thing at full speed, which I certainly was doing, no doubt,
over the mountain,
you will literally. I mean, you are going to enter into the Thunderdome. There is nothing you can do except
because if I get which quarter pipe you mean,
it's the big.
You're talking about the opposite end of the horseshoe bowl,
exactly.
and that quarter pipe throws you right toward the bowl.
Yes, well, either that one or the one right next to it. The one it's the end of the snake run. So you come down the last waterfall of the snake run, it pushes you right into that big sea.
Into the horseshoe bowl.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
So I was doing that, and you were like, dude, you have got to stop. You are sincerely going to get hurt. And I remember it being like, oh, you know what? You're really right. You are correct.
See, now, I have plenty of people in my wake who've hated me for the rest of their lives because I've done things like that, and I won't stop because it's who I am.
Yeah.
Especially if I'm driving you around and you're in my crew.
Yeah, come on, man.
Which I don't have a crew anymore. I'm out of that world of having a crew of riders or attaches who are supposed to help with the mission of a skate trip to popularize a brand. That was fun.
Yes.
Really fun.
Yes.
I almost got to do that again. I almost got to get back in the van and do the work again for Life Skateboards. It was painful. It was painful. I still ride for Life Skateboards and still have great love and affection for what's being done at Life Skateboards, but the limitations of where things are real, and hitting those limitations is part of growing.
Yeah.
And Dustin Hoffman is even on the Facebook Live right now, and he said I was hopeful for that too. That was a very hopeful moment. It really was. And I'm not sure, he said, but chocolate ice cream happens. And you know what? Chocolate ice cream really does happen. And it's not just like, it's okay, you know, whatever happened is what meant to happen, whatever. I don't do any of that. That's not the way that I process the world around me. What went down, and the story is not over.
Yeah.
And there were some folks who were very disappointed by the way things went down in that short season. Maybe it wasn't that long. It was like February to June. That's just a chapter in the story. The learning, the growing continues in all the people who are involved in things like that. So it's really not, you know, it's really but what happened was I came on as a rep for Life Skateboards. No, as the guy who develops a network of brand reps, and then the brand reps help to generate sales in their areas. And then at first the brand reps get boards and soft goods and stickers and like that, and the fun of doing that work. Rep gatherer, cat herder.
Yeah, cat herder.
The reps weren't like cats to me, though. I really am excellent at that job. Just ask me. I've been good enough at that job that other brands have been happy to come in and want to take the reps that I created for my own company. You know,
Oh my gosh.
not just one brand.
Yes.
You know, yeah, and also like it's good to point out that like none of this is very high dollar stuff. You've got people who are working really hard just for the right to work really hard for. I mean, you're looking at a guy who's running a company like Life Skateboards is ambitious to earn. Well, I'll take my work, Fickle Skateboards. To me, the fullest brand of success was being able to work into my 70s for $40,000 a year. You know, and we just don't have high expenses, and I have a high degree of love for skateboarding. And with the 2005 through 8 model, I would have been able to do that with the local sales I had going just for what was going on with promoting a brand here. However, I had to go and speak out against a bunch of chicanery in the industry and in the community, you know, and run afoul of a whole bunch of, you know, cool guy, jock elite, BS bullying stuff. Oh my gosh.
Dude.
It was so easy to make those people so mad.
You know what story I'm thinking of right now is when you went up to that guy and you were like, is this before I get in line for the, what was it, dude?
I was really sad because he died. Who was that dear boy who died? He was on pills. He was a high fashion,
yeah, dude,
amazing street
He had
skater.
amazing impossibles. He did really good impossibles.
Oh,
Dylan Reeder.
It's not Austin Gillette. It's Dylan Reeder.
Yeah.
I pulled up to a bunch of guys. They had succeeded in getting me kicked out off of the bill for an event in my own community.
Yes.
And the collaborative bike shop that I was supposed to be joined with my guys took me off of the thing and then told me, like, those guys hate you. And I'm like, that's not why, that's no reason to take me off the thing. Like, no, they hate you. They want you, like, to be gone, like, to be dead. They won't even. And I was like, so why are you kicking me out of the thing? And he's like, you're good, they're bad, but you're just, I can't, you know. And I was like, oh, this is personal boundaries. Like, this is too much for a guide. So I showed up after the event to clean up trash and help put away the ramps. And they were like, those guys were the worst the whole time. You know, they were like, and I'm like, yeah, you shouldn't have kicked me and my riders off of your thing. We were going to hand out freebies to kids and like that. And they were like, yeah, they didn't do that. And I'm like, yeah, you know. And there were a bunch of those guys from that team that were left over there, and they were just, man, I just always pick on like I pick on people, you know? And so I came charging up to him, and I like skid my board to a stop, like in Crooked Chronicles, where Mark Gonzalez skids his board up and he goes, "I'm pro," you know, like, it's so funny, you know. And I skidded my board up and I go, "Is this where I come to sign up for the Dylan Reader lookalike contest?" Because they all were like head to toe, and dude, they're like, their Instagram handles were like Johnny Does Pills, you know. It was like that. It was like Instagram handle, sponsored writer, public figure, like Johnny Does Pills is like their Instagram handle. So this is the milieu that I was existing in as an adult, raised kids, trying to bring a new brand that's actually made, trying to contrast to this culture of garbage on the wall of a shop, you know, and oh, this is deluxe wood and like this whole complex. And I'm like, wow. And then you go to like the indoor and there's like 12 or 20 of my boards there. No shop will carry them. Everyone is like trying to bash it, but it's popping up everywhere. So I was in the height of that like battle. It was like 2012 or something, 2014.
I think it was later.
It was 16. I don't know. I'd give it 15 on that.
Yeah.
So I pulled up and I was like, "Is this where I come to sign up for the Dylan Reader lookalike contest?" And I thought they were going to laugh because it was funny.
Yeah, come on, man.
Man, they did not laugh. They pretended that it hurt their feelings.
Yes.
And they just turned around and just skated away like 4 blocks, like straight down the road. And I just watched them leave and I was like, I think this is the part where I'm supposed to feel bad for being a bully.
Yes.
But like, they're the ones who tell kids to kill themselves because they're wearing the wrong shoes.
Right.
They're the ones who are like, "Johnny Takes Pills is my Instagram handle, and I'm wiped out on pills. That's Saturday night. We're wiped out on pills and party drugs." And and then they'll punk someone out. You know, like someone will do something gay at a party because they all took ecstasy. And then that person is punked out and locked into the secrecy network of it. Oh, I hate that stuff. You know, that happened to real people, and it leads to harm.
Yes.
And I'm like, the guy who's like, "Well, kids, maybe you guys should be careful what substances you put into your bodies. You know, like maybe you guys should consider maybe like, I don't know what you do on Saturdays, but Sunday maybe hit up church." You know, and that makes you evil and dangerous. Right. You know.
Yes.
And I'm like, you know, like in the love of God and everything, I'm like, fuck it. What are you going to do, man? You know? Sometimes you get the bull, sometimes you get the horns.
Yeah, right.
And I got the horns.
Yes.
And I, you know, that's fine. It was easy to piss those guys off. They're very fragile, you know. But what I love is the whole time the number of people who are just stoked, and they're sort of in between all these masses of culture. They're just stoked on like, how do you do this? Yeah. How do you ride that thing?
I know, dude.
And I'm like, they're the funnest to be around.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, they're the most important people in the whole thing.
Yep.
The most important people in the whole thing are these people who just want to know how you did that.
Yep.
And there's a dad squad here in Cincinnati.
Yep.
That's got all types in it, but lots of guys who are like, just like roll around and want to have fun, and there's zero aspirations to be dominant enforcers.
Right.
And that stuff's precious.
It is.
So, in that regard,
yes,
this thing about shoulders and feet and that alignment, I want to do more stuff like that when we get out and start doing stuff. I want to spend months talking about throwing frontside tricks on coping.
Yes.
I just want to talk about not airs.
Yes.
I just want to talk about everything that led up to the invention of the ollie, which was a bunch of guys, thousands and thousands and thousands of times, just throwing frontside and throwing frontside and throwing frontside, finding that weightless moment, tiny weightless moment, and then finally breaking through a barrier and winding up coming off.
Yep.
You know, and I want to do that in our podcasting and just be just food for thought for folks like that.
Yeah.
And you know, of course, off air, I'll be heckling people that I perceive to be taking it all a bit too seriously.
Yes, dude. Yes.
I don't know. I probably shouldn't do that.
I know, but dude.
We all know I will.
At what price? Yes.
Well, I can tell you the price is really high. If
It
you
is.
don't take the serious guys serious enough, and you wind up, the thing is, you wind up throwing elbows, and you wind up creating space for the people who need to not have to take it this seriously.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
there are people who need skateboarding, and skateboarding needs those people, no matter what it says. You know, no matter what the cool guy elite behind the counter at the shop says.
Right.
Skateboarding needs the people who need that rolling, those tiny moments of weightlessness. You know, I'm locked into my origins, which was I came to skateboarding without knowing that it was a giant thing.
Yeah.
I came to skateboarding. I bought a skateboard because I didn't have to have a coach, and I didn't have to have parents on the sidelines, and I didn't have to keep score, and I could have almost free movement, motion, you know, carving, cutting, experimenting with motion within my preferences without anyone around to judge me.
Yeah.
And I liked it when I skated with other people. I did, and I liked missioning into tricks back then. But back then, a trick was like ollieing out a gap into a 50-50 grind on a curb with no wax.
Yep.
You know,
Right.
And it was simpler. It was more rustic and rudimentary, but I did like it. I liked learning all the shove-it tricks. Shove-its were a big deal. Like back in the 80s, you didn't even know how a guy did that. And then you started learning it, and you were like, shove it, shove it, shove it, 360, shove it.
Yes.
Then other side, other side, other side.
Yeah.
And then a no comply over something, and then a 180 no comply, and then a 360 no comply, and then a step off shove it style no comply. And like that was a set of tricks that was like super fun, super basic. And but I spent like 20 minutes last night watching a video of a guy named Johnny Giger. I think people call him Johnny Geiger, but he's Austrian or Swiss.
Is he one of the Revive guys?
He is. He rides for Revive.
Is he the guy who does like the like one-footed nose manuals across the flat bottom of the vert ramp at ollies type deal? Is that him?
I don't know if Johnny ever did that, but he's in Austria, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Maybe Switzerland, but I think he's in Austria. And he is one of just the happiest dudes, and he's amazing at doing complicated tricks. I love it. And I just dig watching Johnny Giger because he just he missions into these tricks, and obviously that's like a whole temperament and personality type that he's got.
Yeah.
That's his deal.
Yeah, I like it. I
That's
like
what
that
he
there's
loves
room.
doing.
Yeah, I like that there's room
You
for
know?
these guys. That's not my cup of tea, but it's sick that these boys are out here trying the same thing over and over. And if that's what you enjoy, man, get after it, bro.
I think I'm hard to understand for some folks because in one episode, I'll come out saying like, "Hey, man, you're throwing your board and you're getting really angry and you're stinking it up."
Right.
And I stand by that.
Yes.
Well, on the other hand, there I am sitting for 20 minutes watching Johnny Giger and Day One song footage.
I know.
I ride an 11-inch wide board with, hand it to me, it's right over here. Will you grab that for me, that one there?
I got it.
I ride an 11-inch wide board with no regrets, right? With 10-inch wide trucks on it. It's an absolute monster. It's got a 14.75 wheelbase on it.
Just as God intended.
And yes, I cannot ollie on it. I mean, I can. And I do. And yes, you try and hang it up so everyone can see it behind me there. There you go. I like that. I like that little shelf up there. It's got little things on it. We'll try and dress the shelf. Thanks, Luke.
Yeah, but gotcha.
Yeah. But so I'll come out with this like thing about stinking up the session with a super hyper serious attitude, and then I'll come out with a thing about, and then you'll catch me at my house watching all this tech footage.
I know.
And I watched Nigel's new video. I need this.
Bro.
I watched it.
Bro.
It hits a point of saturation, and I had to do what I call palate cleansers. I didn't make it all the way through.
Yes, dude.
But I had to do palate cleansers. And
Yes.
what's my palate cleanser? What do you think I went to cleanse my palate with some great long line, high level skateboarding?
Grant Taylor.
That's it.
Did you really? Yes, dude.
That's it.
Dude.
I went and watched a bunch of old Grant Taylor footage from Nike SB. They've got all these chronicles on Grant Taylor, and I just watched a few Grant Taylor chronicles.
Yes.
And then I watched a bunch of Gifted Hater.
Yes.
And I watched a bunch of thrash talking where they're breaking all the rules.
Yeah.
And Gifted was exposing that a trick might not have been made by a well-known pro who wound up getting Skater of the Year on this footage. And the guy had switch ollied over a baby picnic table, which is very, very
That's
big.
insane.
Even a baby picnic table is massive.
They're huge, dude.
And so he, Tyshawn Jones.
Yeah. T. Jones.
And Tyshawn Jones switch ollied a picnic table, but Gifted Hater did a video, and I loved it. He said he'd been getting a lot of pushback, and people have been telling him to back off on it, but he had to do it.
Right.
And he went through and he drew lines, and he used all this technology, and he had this green screen, and he had a different, like a Microsoft Paint or something going on.
Like metrics, right?
He did it. He did the angle of the sun and the shadows, and he did all this stuff, and he did a really good job at going, look, do I think Tyshawn Jones can do this? Yeah. Do I think he has done it? I'm not sure. Do I think that this is video of him doing it? No.
Hold on.
Because he came down over the front corner instead of over the center. And what was cool about it was, and Gifted got called all kinds of terrible things that he got called terrible things for doing this, right? But what he was trying to do was have some integrity. He was saying, look, if we're going to be all about this trick life, then somebody's got to hold accountability to whether something appears or doesn't appear to be authentic.
Right.
And I thought it was really cool because he did a great job being respectful, being detailed, and bringing receipts with what he was observing, and then coming to a pretty humble conclusion that, like, yeah, just to me, after looking at all these things, this is why it's my opinion that this wasn't a proper, accomplished thing.
So he's saying that he came over diagonally instead of straight across, which is still nuts.
Well, yeah, but 2 days later,
Go ahead.
on his Instagram, Tyshawn Jones did a full-on
Yeah,
documented switch ollie over the
course.
same table,
Right.
and he just killed it.
Yes.
And it was sick.
I hope it was caused by Gifted Haters video. That would be so funny, dude. He's like, shit, sorry.
I think that there's good evidence to see that it was.
Yeah.
And so, like, the trick stuff is interesting to me. I do like, I like a lot of the skateboarding that's going on there. It is, it is a feature with me, not a bug, that I can't finish watching Nigel's part. With all due respect, dude, there is respect that is not due, but with all due respect to the effort that Nigel puts in, honestly, I just personally don't relate to putting in that much effort for that kind of thing.
Yes.
That doesn't mean a lot of things.
But dude, I will say I feel very similar to you. I did not necessarily feel I felt zero like interest to go skate after I watched Nigel's part.
Yes.
But I will say this. Hands down, that is the gnarliest part that's ever came out in the history of skateboarding. Hands down. I mean, the guy is nuts. That was insane, dude. It was nutso. The fact that he didn't win Skater of the Year is insane to me. I have big opinions about that. Everybody's like, he's such a corporate jock. He looks like a robot. And I'm like, yeah, except that he just like switched front crooked down an 85 stair rail. You know what I mean?
You know, Skater of the Year is actually a misnomer.
It's just Skater that they like the most that year.
No, it's Thrasher Magazine's Skater of the
Year.
Year. And I think that that's a good consideration because there are other interests that could just as well come out with a Skater of the Year.
Yes.
One of which did it is the Welfare Line Skateboard Collectors have a Skater of the Year. And that is super cool. And it was this year, it was Joel Nesmith.
That's awesome.
Who is just one of the best dudes ever.
Yeah.
And when they pick a Skater of the Year, they pick a person who embodies what I think at the Welfare Line I think they have all the good stuff.
Yeah.
Those guys are all about the love and the fun. And they were actually born out of some beginnings. I should interview some of them.
Yeah.
The problem is if we do an interview about, and if we get any, if we get any listenership, if we do an interview about how the Welfare Line started, they might get really famous and really big, and they're already a pretty big deal. They meet up in Cleveland every year and like that. I'd hate to be the reason that they become something that they're not.
Sure.
But that assumes that we will achieve internet fame and virality.
Yes.
Which is,
right.
We probably won't.
which we probably won't.
I don't know, dude. It would be rad to be podcasters. Could you imagine if they were podcasters?
That would be awesome. I would.
Now, rule number one about being a rad podcaster is don't podcast about podcasting.
Yeah.
So back to the.
Yes, go ahead.
Back to the stuff.
Yes.
So, it's cold weather here. First, it's in the 20s here in Cincinnati. To us, that feels cold because we don't have a very cold winter in Cincinnati typically. 2013, it was wicked cold.
Dude, that winter was so cold. I remember being over here and it was like -5 outside or something. So
and I heard that Minnesota hits colder than the surface of Mars.
Dude.
I don't know what that's supposed to mean because
when the sun is hitting it or on the dark side?
Like dark side, like colder than the lowest temperature of the surface of Mars.
That's not so, dude.
And I hear that and I'm like, wow. I'd be sick if there was like a quality, good indoor skate park. Very hard to build and make those happen. Very hard. We've got some warehouses here. I'm not a key holder or an importer. I just can't keep myself from being controversial, like even my heckling and like that. And I'm just not sure that I'm not sure I'm the right stuff for being in close quarters with folks who take skateboarding so seriously.
Right.
I really am not sure.
Right.
Although every time I am with them, it's fun.
We have a good time.
I do tend to feel like I come away like, hey man, did I just have a good time?
Right. Yeah.
Weren't you just saying you were going to murder me in the streets if you caught me?
Right. Yeah, and then when they're not with their crew, they're super cool, and they're like, I never felt that way about you. You've always been a really cool guy to me.
There's that. There's that. I don't think that's even just about skateboarding.
No.
That's human communities.
Yes.
We have a garbage pile here.
We
need a garbage can.
Its container is actually like a year-old, like chocolate egg of some sort that you hit and it opens up.
Pick it up. Let's show this. Let's let the listeners and the viewers get a survey. That's what you're hearing crinkling into my lav mic. This is one of those chocolate oranges that you get for Christmas.
Yeah, right.
Well, I got it for Christmas, and then I went low carb.
That was like
very shortly after. I've been low carb for about a year. And I went low carb and forgot to eat it before I did so. And now we've been chewing gum up here. It's got at least 15 pieces of chewed gum.
Yes.
Old rubber bands, plastic wrappers, and the tin foils off of the gum.
Yes.
And it sits here as a monument to being us who don't have a wastebasket in the room.
It's fine.
Is it? I
It's
think
probably
it
not.
is.
I mean, it is, but it would be nice to have one.
But what we do have, we have a tub of knives.
We do have a
Pull out the tub of knives.
I'll pull out the tub of knives.
Like we have today a tub of knives in the room.
And holsters.
There's a buffalo hide holster. I'm gonna feature for our video here. I'm wearing a buck knife right now.
I see it.
I'm wearing a buck hunter. But here's a favorite. This is a British survival knife. It's a J. Adams model. It's J. Adams is the model. Adams survival knife.
Oh.
This thing is wider than 1/4 of an inch. This one is from the Republic of Georgia.
That's sick.
This was given to me by a Georgian student who stayed with us for a year. And he and I This is a Georgian knife, and it's like an ancient, it's based on, obviously you can see it's based on the Roman gladius in its design. And this is ages back, the Republic of Georgia. These guys are high speed, low drag. Here, you gotta get this in the right way. I wonder, this is mostly an ornamental knife. I wonder what the steel is like in this knife. I wonder. It'd be cool if it was good steel, but I couldn't expect that it is. But that's a lovely one. But this British survival knife, this is a military bushcraft knife. This thing is super long. It's a 9-inch blade. It's wider than 1/4 of an inch, and a lot of guys will take this. It's got like a rubber plastic riveted guards, full tang design with a lanyard hole in it.
Dang.
Guys, and it's got a very thick, what is that called?
Hilt?
No, the hilt is the handle. That's
Crossbar?
like a pommel guard. Yeah, it's got, I know the word for that. It might be hilt. I can't remember. That happens when you're broadcasting. People take these and grind them down, give them a different edge. They'll shape them, they'll knurl them, make them really nice. They'll remove the bluing. I would love to rework this knife one day if I get myself together. And it comes with a homemade sheath that I did not make. I got this knife without and this sheath is dope. It hangs really nicely. It's floppy, but it's got the ability to get mollied to something by all that paracord, and it zips in very nicely. That's a cool knife.
Did you just say mollied?
Yeah, you can put a molly strap behind this and molly strap it to your backpack or whatever.
I see. I've never heard the term mollied.
M-O-L-L-E. It's a military
I see.
military attachment system. Yeah,
Yes.
so we did a knife profile. That was fun.
That was
Thanks
awesome.
thanks for getting that out.
Yes, dude. I'm helping. This one says 2006 on it.
This one is from. This is from. Is this a Tajik knife?
I don't even know.
No,
what
this
is.
one is from Turkmenistan.
Really?
Yeah, this is a Turkmen knife. 2006. This is from Turkmenistan. I might be wrong, but I think I'm right.
I like that. I just.
It's
said,
actually a nice little knife, but you can't trust knives that are ornamental that come from other countries. A lot of times the blade tang only comes down about that far and they break. This one does feel light. I'd have to take it apart to figure out what it is. But lovely little knife. And well, we're not going to go through all of them.
No, it's fine.
But yeah, so the simple stuff. What did Bob Lofton, Bob's Trick Tips had a word for it. What was his word for small? It was about being small.
I can't remember.
It's like the small arts.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he even wrote a whole thing on his Trick Tips website. Bob's a freestyle focused skateboarder out of Texas, not Dallas.
I think Texas.
He's in Texas, and
Dude, his Facebook profile thing, it says Bob Lofton, ugly bag of mostly water.
Bob Lofton. And Bob's Trick Tips is on YouTube somewhere. And he is humble, and he is, I think he called it the small arts. It's a term that was coined by someone else.
Yes.
And he wrote an article about me.
Yes.
And it's on there.
Trying to find it.
Yeah. That's what I want to do with our media coming up this year, is to take stuff like, I mean, the TikTok I made for the podcast and the Instagram that I have. That's all we've been posting is little stuff, and I think we're just going to keep it up.
Yeah.
I'll tell you someone who does the small arts really well. Pete from Pete's Pigs.
Dude, that guy is so cool, man.
We can't talk about him without saying that.
I think he's great.
Pete from Pete's Pigs is, there are some others who ride for life skateboards who are people to really watch.
Yes.
Almost got to meet him, but we didn't go to Cleveland.
I'm still sour about
Not going to Cleveland was one of the bummers of the year, because we really wanted to get with the other riders for life skateboards.
Yes.
And once the boss pulled the plug on going, we realized it was going to be chaotic and high responsibility. So we were going to use our trip to Cleveland to do planning for this podcast.
Yes.
And figure out contract terms to split up all the filthy lucre we were going to make doing
this. Yeah, all the money, man.
The money split was a heavy negotiation.
Split, yeah. We were both going to bring lawyers and shit.
I was a little stoked yesterday. I looked through my emails and found out that our donor base is down to $17, and we're getting return payments on some of our donors, like their cards aren't going through.
Yes, dude. Come on now. Can it really be any other way?
Bro.
Yeah, it's fine. I mean, here's the thing, it could, but the amount of effort it takes, dude.
The money that's going to come in is going to be from Monster Energy Drink.
Oh, I forgot, yeah. We're in talks with Monster Energy.
Monster Energy Drink and Harley Davidson are for sure going to pick up on all of this.
They're super interested.
Absolutely, dude. Absolutely.
If they were smart, they would be.
Well, I was almost in that movie, The Bike Riders, which has a mixed review among the bikers of the area.
Yes.
But will the bikers who they try to recruit as extras, will they ever have a good review of a Hollywood production?
No.
You know?
No.
I mean, I would...
No.
I'm just trying to imagine a bunch of real bikers who are like, oh no, no, I mean, Sons of Anarchy.
Dude,
is
don't even.
No, I'm going to talk about it.
All right, go ahead.
We are going to talk about it.
It's fine.
Sons of Anarchy was well loved by. It's got real historic bikers in the cast. It does.
That's fine.
It's got history makers that are in the cast of it.
It's fine. I haven't even watched it. I have an opinion about it. It's like I'm down to hate that.
Well, you're going to get greenlit if you're not careful.
Greenlit.
Don't know.
I don't even know what that means.
Well, you should look it up right now.
You can't kill a dead man, Lou.
Well, the funny thing about them is if they're still moving, they can stop. You can stop them from moving for the rest of your own life.
All the those Lifetime television shows. It's fine. I'm sure that's fine.
Look, man, I'm not defending Hollywood productions and Hollywood depictions of real life stuff.
Go ahead.
I'm not. I'm saying that it was really funny because some of the cheesy garbage things that have been made, they're fun.
They are fun.
They're just fun.
No, it is fun.
They're fun. I had fun.
No, that's good.
I remember I watched all the way through the Sons of Anarchy all myself.
Did you enjoy it? Did you find it enjoyable to watch?
Had motorcycles and fights in it.
You're right.
I have a pretty low bar.
Yeah. Dude,
I did have a hard time with this good times, brother, and they were just bonding over human trafficking. I was like, aren't you guys human traffickers?
Yeah.
I was like, isn't that aren't you guys kind of human trafficking? But Sons of Anarchy. Good times, just bonding as brothers over some human trafficking.
Yeah.
And I was like, they're like, no, it's not human trafficking, man. It's just prostitution.
Yeah,
And you're like, man, what's going on?
on?
But then they had more motorcycles, and then there was another fist fight, so I was still in.
Yeah, right. Yeah, they got you, dude.
And then toward the end of the series, I just was like, man, how many ways are they going to make up for the main characters to commit these murders, all these murders, the kill count was so high.
Yes.
And I was like, this is reaching biblical proportions here. And then, you just want to wait until you see that there's one of the main cast and that she's going to die for all the evil and wicked stuff that she did.
Yes.
And you just want to see how. All right. So that was my first watch through on the Sons of Anarchy.
How many seasons are there?
Probably 8.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know.
How long are the episodes?
Probably an hour.
Oh my god, how many episodes are in a season, my guy?
Probably 20.
Oh my gosh, dude.
Listen.
What's 20 times 8? I don't even know. 160 hours of just glorious
Aren't there only 365 hours in a year?
Hush now. Yeah, there's 365 hours in every year. You just spent half a year watching this. What were you thinking? The math works out.
It was fun.
I love you. I really do.
I was under a lot of stress. I was under a lot of stress during that part of my life.
Yes.
And then I did it again. I didn't binge watch the whole thing. I just went back for my favorite murders.
Oh my gosh, dude.
I went back to watch. I went back to watch my favorite motorcycles and my favorite murders. I went back for the M&Ms.
Oh my gosh.
And
as a dog returns to its vomit,
yeah,
so Lou returns to the Sons of Anarchy. I love that about you.
But at the same time, you know, I'm rewatching like skate videos that it's weird. I like watching things I don't like.
Yeah, can you talk about that a little bit? I have noticed this about you, and we haven't spoken about it briefly, but I am interested in your perspective.
Do you have in mind any examples of you seeing me do it?
Dude, which one? Dude, you watch all those stupid skateboarding vlogs, which I can't stand.
Oh, you're talking about Dan Corrigan.
Yeah, Dan seems like a really friendly dude, and I care about him, I do, but I just don't like his media very much at all, and you watch so much of it, and I'm just so interested by it.
Well, let me start with in defense of Dan Corrigan.
I'm not attacking
You haven't
Dan.
attacked him.
I'm not. I think Dan is a great dude. I'd love to meet him.
Well, as a person who has not attacked him,
go ahead.
I think you'll be surprised at my defense of him.
Okay,
too.
Go ahead.
I don't like his videos.
Then why do you watch like 80 hours a week of him?
Because while I don't like his videos,
okay,
I really enjoy watching them.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
There's a difference.
I don't know that there is.
There is.
Okay, talk to me about it. I'm very intrigued.
Because, okay, and I really like Dan.
Yes.
I get it.
Yes.
When I'm watching a Dan Corrigan video,
yes,
my attention is like expanding beyond the pinhole that I see Dan in.
Okay.
Okay. I'm thinking about like, oh, is that Haley in the background?
Yeah.
And is that Dale Decker guy creeping around
yes.
somewhere?
Okay.
And I wonder what it's like at that park where they are.
Yeah.
Man, that quarter pipe is so smooth. How sick would it be?
Yes.
To be over doing frontside Smiths for 2 hours on that quarter pipe right now. And and what I like, so like I don't like the video I'm watching, but I like watching this video. And the other thing is, I'm very curious. I haven't made a lot of media, but I've really enjoyed. I wonder how Scott Laughlin knows about Zombie Baby Ditch.
I don't know, but I'm fascinated by him.
I am too, because Zombie Baby Ditch, one day I hope you get to see it.
Yes.
It is a great ditch.
Yes.
It used to have a concrete figurine.
Okay. Of a zombie baby?
Of a cadaverous baby.
Oh my gosh, dude.
At the bottom of it, under a bush.
That's punk rock.
Someone took it.
Scott said, I watched it.
That's lovely. So Dan Corrigan's videos are a lot like my videos.
Yeah.
I don't think that anyone really. I don't think that there's a lot of good material getting filmed.
Yeah.
In terms of cinematic quality.
Yeah.
When I watch like the Dale Deckers or the Dan Corrigans or the Haley Isaacs.
Right. Who's the guy from Cincinnati who does that as well? John something?
John Hill?
John Hill. Oh,
he's not from Cincinnati.
Oh,
he's from Columbia, South Carolina.
But he lives here currently, or in Covington, or did. He did skate. He has a bunch of Cincinnati.
John is in Texas now. He moved to Texas.
Good for him.
Good move.
Listen, I just gotta say, I don't dislike any of these guys. I don't know what it is about the media that I dislike, but I will say this one thing that I can correlate it to: the game Pokemon.
Yes.
Okay. Everybody else loves it. My brothers used to play that endlessly, and I hated it because it didn't make any sense. I'm maybe mission oriented. And I was like, well, what do you do? And they're like, well, you just walk around and gather Pokemon, or like Skyrim or something. I was like, this is the dumbest shit I have ever seen in my life. You know, like I was like, what? Why? What are we doing? What's the mission? Is there a goal? Like, no, there's not. I don't know if those things are correlated because I like these guys. Dan seems like and John, they all seem like super cool dudes, and I'd love to skate with them, and I'd love to talk with them. I'm interested in their perspective. I just am like, so you're going to film a video that's like 25 minutes long about like what you did all day, and then you're going to get like hundreds of thousands of views, and I just don't understand it.
I look at that and I'm like, I'm jealous.
Yeah, maybe. And is this what
I
we're
would
doing
love
now?
to do that.
Is this what we're doing now? Have I become what I hate the most?
Do you hate that the most?
I don't hate it the most, but I like the idea that you either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
There is nothing heroic or villainous
I know, dude.
going on in
dude.
these really.
I know,
these
dude.
are really benign video products.
Yeah,
they're benign.
Right.
Like I have watched John Hill videos, and John has been, I don't know, vlogging.
Yeah, for so long.
For forever. And we dabbled in vlogging back in the day, and got banned from Ollie's skate park one time, which is probably us in the great realm of it, a smaller thing than it sounds, but oof, it hurt.
Yes.
And it's fun. It feels nice to connect with people in the thing that you enjoy doing.
Yes.
And
that's true.
Also, there has to be but there are ways for people of lower talent to contribute to skateboarding. Some of it is the small arts. Like, I would love to focus in on some small aspects of things that I can do that might contribute to the learning journey of other people or the inspiration journey of other people. That's fun, man. Yeah. That sounds awesome to me.
No, I like that aspect of it. Yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah.
It's a little bit egotistical.
Okay, yeah.
It is. That feeds on and feeds into ego a little bit, but that's fine. You take your ego with you everywhere you go. It's just called being a person.
Right.
But I enjoy watching. There's this word that young people use now. Never had it as a kid. And the word is cringe. And it's like a noun. No.
Is it a noun? It's not an adjective?
Cringing used to mean to go like that. You know, like Tina Belcher on Bob's Burgers.
That's right.
Where she goes, that's cringing.
Yes.
But now the kids nowadays who aren't Gen Xers, you know, they've got this noun form of cringe.
And
they'll say like, that's cringe. And they at times mean an adjective.
I feel like it's always an adjective.
No, I was watching a YouTuber called Shoe On Head.
That's sick.
She is a YouTuber, and very strange.
Yes.
To me.
Yeah.
And she was talking about social media and politics and stuff.
Okay.
And she was either being a patriot or a fascist or whatever. I don't know anymore.
It's hard to tell the difference, yeah.
And she was talking about things, and she kept saying, that's just cringe. And then she used cringe as a noun form.
How did she do it? Can you
she said, these people love producing, they love producing cringe.
Oh, she actually did.
And people are just looking for cringe, or people are, you know, and she used it as a noun. And I liken the word cringe to the word moist.
Oh, why? You said it. You could have just said the M word, dude. Dude, somebody's going to cut that and they're going to say that we said the N word.
No, the M word. Moist.
Moist.
Cringe is like that to me. It's just a terrible, terrible word form.
Yes.
And, but some people make videos that appeal to a sensibility that is called schadenfreude, which is pleasure from someone else's shame. And maybe some of what's going on with me when I watch those is also like fascination with how bad something is in terms of production quality or in terms of some things, and just thinking about, like, I'll be watching a Dan Corrigan thing, and I'm like, oh, I really disagree with what he said right there, or I really, really agree with what he said right there, or
Sure.
man, I was watching him last night and I was thinking, oh my gosh, this guy has got, Dan Corrigan has got so much talent.
He's really good.
No.
I thought he was really good. I've seen him do some crazy stuff. He's
Yes, he
pretty
does
good.
crazy things. He
Yes.
has amazing talent.
Yes.
But like, he doesn't go fast.
I know, but that's part of the reason I don't like it. I don't like it. Yeah.
Well, he practices what I think Bob Lofton would call the small art. Hey, I have no talent.
Well,
I have some sort of talent, but it's completely underdeveloped by a what do you call it? A pathological lack of ambition.
yes.
I just, nope, not going to break my leg
Right.
to make that bigger and better. And I'm not going to break my leg in order to achieve that trick. I'm going to do this small trick, and it's so relatable what Dan does to me. I was watching him, and I'm like watching him do like 2 mile per hour, slappy nose grind on a curb that's like 18 inches tall.
Oh, that's cool.
Like 18 inches tall, like all the way in,
Yeah.
all the way up,
Yeah.
crooked grind.
Yeah.
And he's going like 2 miles an hour.
Okay, grind.
And he grinds it
Yeah.
for like 5 feet.
Oh, it's kind of cool.
And like at the end, he's like, stop, go, stop, go, stop, go, stop.
Yeah.
He's so based in balance.
Sure.
And you know what? To a certain ethos or aesthetic, that's very bad. Okay?
Yeah.
But to me,
Sure.
I love it. He's breaking the rules of being good.
I like
So
that.
when I say he's got a lot of skills but he's not good, I'm saying that out of an attitude of preference for what Dan does.
Yeah.
And I enjoy watching that. Now, like, take John Hill.
Yeah.
John Hill is along the lines of Johnny Giger.
Yeah.
Or Johnny Geiger.
Yeah.
So they're both extremely skilled. I watched a John Hill thing where it's like, I'm just going to warm up with the 36 tricks divided in 6 categories, 6 tricks each by front, forward,
Right.
backward,
Yes.
switch and regular. And he
Yep.
did this thing on this one thing.
Right.
And
That's
he was
cool.
all sweaty and afterward, and he did all of them.
No, that's
He
sick.
accidentally left some out because it was just such a complicated group.
Yes.
That's what he does every time.
That's cool.
And I'm sitting there and I'm like, well, I'll skate the whole time with you and I'll just ollie onto it, roll and ollie off of it. Ollie onto it, roll and ollie off of it
Right.
until
Yes.
if by luxury of life I've been able to do it enough,
Yeah.
I'll start kick flipping off of it.
Oh.
Really will, you
Oh.
know. But that's by luxury of life and time. I'm just gonna I'll start to manual. And maybe I'll ollie G-turn off the same side or, you know, like that. But that's only by luxury of time.
Right.
And I spend my time very differently than the Dylan Reader lookalike fan club. I really do.
Yes.
I've got stuff to spend my time on that skateboarding doesn't hold a candle to. I love working for a roofing company. Luke is a passionate member of our surveying company.
I'm passionate.
You can't shut him up.
I'm passionate.
He
See how I'm not
is
stopping
a
talking?
true believer in, what are they called, the little pins?
The property pins. Those actually are cool. I love them. It's like a treasure hunt. You can find stuff from like 1800. It's actually really cool. That part I like. Yeah, it's nice.
And we have families.
Yes.
And families are worth all the study it takes to do them.
Yes.
And so skateboarding occupies a healthy little corner of our lives.
Yeah.
And we will heckle and openly mock things being flipped upside down and being more important than what they really are.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. That's healthy for you.
I
We'll send you an invoice.
Yeah, we'll send you an invoice. I like your perspective on the Dan Corrigans and the John Hills. I really do. I care about these people. I want it to be clear. I don't feel anger or like blah blah towards them. I think their content isn't. It's not my. I'm just in another gear. You know.
Yeah.
I'm just in another gear, and I like because we've done a little Vliggity vlogs before.
We did.
But ours are geared towards like helping people and encouraging people to Like, enjoy the little thing, and maybe doing little trick tips that are actually really helpful. Like the shoulders and hips thing that we do sometimes with people. That's the thing I tell people all the time. I'll ask a guy, I'll say, hey, do you mind if I give you a piece of advice? And they'll say yes sometimes. And I'll say, hey, man, watch your shoulders. It'll really help, because it really helped me. And that's impacts a person's skateboarding journey, like, for the rest of their life. You know what I mean? Like,
I like that stuff. That's because I have a background in the martial arts. I even have an artifact from that right here. I'm going to show this. I dug this out the other day. This was in my stuff. There you go.
Look at it.
I'm on the rolls in the cookie one in Korea.
Yes.
And that's old school. That's not the combination of soccer and freeze tag that they play nowadays.
Gosh.
I really don't. I don't like modern taekwondo very much at all. Ooh, that's a spicy topic for some folks.
Yeah.
I don't. But yeah. So when I look at skateboarding, I'm always thinking about, like, okay, stance, alignment,
yes.
timing, all the time,
yes.
and it's really fun for me.
Yes.
I do enjoy that. But man, I am in awe when I see some of the gifted kids skateboarding.
Yeah.
Gifted kids who they get it quickly.
Yeah.
That's fun to watch. Some of the, like, floppy kids who, like, look like a train wreck that's happening, and then they're pulling it out.
Yeah.
Tristan Funkhauser.
I know the name, but I don't know who it is.
He was up for Skater of the Year, and his skateboarding is more loose than Nigel Houston.
Yes.
Yeah. His skateboarding is more loose and more sloppy.
Yeah.
Than Nigel Houston, and it's I have to say it's less overtly athletic than Nigel's and Tyshawn Jones.
Yes. Who won this year? What's his name?
Tyshawn Jones.
Oh, Tyshawn Jones.
Yeah.
Well, it was funny, dude. Somebody I watched the clip of Tyshawn doing, like, the switch kickflip over the subway dealio, and somebody was like,
yeah,
he's totally doing
the backside flip.
No, I think it was a switch flip.
It was a backside flip.
It could have been a backside flip. I don't care.
Was it a switch backside flip? Maybe. I don't know.
It could be. I mean, it was
if
massive.
It was switch. It was massive, because that was like a 15-foot or 20-foot gap.
Yeah.
How far is it in a subway?
It's literally like 20 feet, 25. I mean, it's huge. It's insane. Like, the guy is nuts. So he's extremely talented.
Powerful.
But somebody said something like, "Oh yeah, Nigel's style sucks, but this guy's style is great." And I was like, "That's crazy, dog."
I'm okay with that. That's an opinion.
It is an opinion, but I think that it's just so wrong.
Maybe what's wrong? Okay, so I'll tell you what's sad about it. I don't think it's wrong for a person to express their opinion. What's sad about it is that it came across in the form of a put down.
Yeah. Well,
to me it is counterproductive that we use put downs in the expression of our preferences.
It is. Yes.
I don't know. This seemed never to take a hold. My whole life, as far as I can remember back, is like even playing with kids before kindergarten. I just remember, man, kids and people are just savages who don't have that sense for, like, hey, I'm about to say some words. Will they be words that help, or will they be words that hurt?
Right.
Well, I could use words that help and express this opinion, but I will use words that hurt to express this opinion.
Yeah.
Especially with internet. Now, I've been accused of being one of those guys, but I want to tell you, I'm on record. You can go back and see the words that I say. No. I'm usually, I have a long history of bringing almost journalistic critique, editorial critique, to the world around me, and saying, like, incisive, cutting things.
Right.
That's not what I'm talking about.
Right.
Ironically, usually when I say incisive, cutting things, you have to drive it pretty close to refusal for me to start using cutting language, and I have used cutting language in the past, and even profanity.
Yeah.
And I kind of stand by a lot of the dodgy things I said back then, because of how pernicious some of the stuff I was talking about was. So I'm still ready I'll buy the coffee. For the people who were hurt by the incisive things I've said, I'll buy the coffee, and we can sit down, and if they can convince me to any degree that I was wrong, I'll be more than happy to publish just as broadly that I've been shown the error of my ways.
Sure.
But I stand behind the lion's share of my assertions in the past. Because before I speak and before I write, I ask, Like, what's my goal here? Is this, maybe some people's goal is to destroy.
Yeah.
Maybe they want to destroy. Because I'm thinking of Nigel Houston, and, you know, we got love for Dan Corrigan, and we got love for John Hill, and we've got love for Andy Schrock and people like that, even though I've offered incisive, cutting critique of people like some of these guys I've dug in on.
Yeah.
But I also have love for Nigel Houston, and I don't think it's a great move for me to say, oh, I think his style sucks, but this guy's style is good. I don't think that anybody is the governor of style.
No.
You know who really messed that up first, in my view? Skip Anglum.
What did he do?
I love Skip. He's in his, like, 70s now.
Yeah.
He was the team manager and the owner of Zephyr Surf Shop.
Yeah.
With Jeff Ho.
Mm-hmm.
Back in the beginning of the whole... I mean, Pepsi had a skate team and like that. But it was Skip that in the Dogtown Z-Boy documentary narrated by Sean Penn, very, very well narrated.
Sure. Sean Penn narrated?
Yeah, he narrated it.
That's hilarious. That's awesome. That's awesome.
In that one, there was Skip said, like, if you didn't have good style, you were out, you know, and it was very absolute, and it established a thing where it's like, if you don't look good when you're doing it, then get the heck off of the spot, you know.
Right.
And I'm like, yeah, I get that. I like to invest in the moment of a trick, and it winds up being an aesthetic.
Yeah.
There is an aesthetic that's involved. It's definitely not, you know, like, I don't compare to so much of what's out there. No way.
Yeah.
But I do things the way I like them, the way my mind sees them, and that means like tipping and dipping and bending the knees inward, not outward, and things like that.
Yeah.
Like, or, you know, another person that really was interesting about this was like Jeff Grosso, who he would talk out of both sides of his mouth, and he meant to.
Yeah.
Because it's nuanced.
That was the point, right?
It was the point. He would say on the one hand, like, you know, get out there and skate your way. There are no rules. And on the other hand, he'd say, if you're not tucking your knee on your front seders.
Yeah, front seders.
Yeah, if you're not tucking your knee on your front seders, then you need to get out of the pool. And he meant both of them.
Yeah,
because human beings are, what is it called when something like that? Like, if it's a mystery, you can call it an enigma.
Right. Or inconsistent.
Yeah, but we're dichotomous. We're contradictory.
Yeah.
And that's what makes us fun too.
Yeah, right.
You know?
And it drives a lot of the different styles of skateboarding and things, and some people enjoy this and some people enjoy that. Yeah, absolutely.
I think that we have to embrace the dichotomy of being human.
Yes.
And like Jeff Grosso couldn't do stalefish airs. So he did roast beef airs.
Yeah, which is sick.
And roast beef is like a joke grab.
Yeah.
Until you watch Grosso do them, and they were sick.
Right.
And I have grabbed stalefish on flat ground street ollies.
Oh, really?
I have.
That's
I've grabbed stalefish on those.
Yeah.
I used to do melon ollies. Grab and tweak melon flat ground. Before I hit the ground, I could tweak it and pull it back.
That's sick.
I did. I used to be like that. I don't even want to try now.
Yeah.
I should return to my roots and do that. But
I think the thing that bothers me is that the overarching metric that most people use. That's what bothered me about this guy's comment on some stupid Facebook blah blah, is because the overarching metric that people will use as a baseline, you know, they'll use it when it behooves them, and then they're not going to use it when it doesn't behoove them. And I'm like, well, what are we doing? Is it all subjective, and can we all have our opinion, or is there a metric that we're going to use? In which case, here's my opinion about it, which appears to be correct using this metric. Oh, but now we're not using that metric. You know what I mean? And I get it. That's just the way of things, and I don't honestly care, like, at all. But it is interesting.
No, you do care.
Well,
because
to some
we're talking
extent,
about it
yeah.
now.
I don't give it a whole lot of bandwidth inside of my life, but yes.
Not only do you care. I think about this because what you're talking about is a dichotomy. It is, here you've got a lot of people nowadays. They're perfectly willing to hold in dynamic tension two conflicting ideas.
Yes.
I'm going to I'm going to consistently be judgmental and put down
Right.
this guy.
Yes.
Those standards will not be applied to me.
Yes.
You know, like,
Right.
you get this.
Right.
And then you've got them being, well, then you have them being completely inconsistent when it applies to themselves.
Right.
And this is hypocrisy, and it's
Yes.
hypocritical.
Right.
And one has to ask, like, how much damage does it do if skateboarders act like this? But, you know, it's funny because I've seen the damage.
Yeah.
I've seen people use words that increase suicidality.
Right.
You know, I've seen people decide to be on the negative end of the equation when it comes to the human life
Right.
well lived.
Yes. Yes.
And I've seen it where people do that who are not just like garden variety people, but they're influential, powerful people. But
Yeah.
you know, it's, and big breath.
Yeah.
You know, the response to that is to get out there and wield your own words
Right.
in a way that helps.
Yeah.
You know, to
Right.
offset it.
Right.
Maybe there's a certain amount of contrasting that will have to happen.
Yeah.
Maybe when you do that contrasting, people who fall on an embarrassing side of the contrast may resent you.
Yes.
You know, well, what do they say, Buttercup?
Yeah. Oh.
Buckle up.
Buckle up.
Buckle up. It's a wild ride if you
It
want.
is.
You know, it is.
Right.
It is definitely a wild ride if you
Right.
want to live your life and have salt.
Yeah.
You know, if you want to be the light of the world and the salt of the earth, you're gonna get treated the way that gets treated. And there's a lot better than having no flavor at all.
Right.
But yeah, like I think it's interesting. We discussed today like why I watch things I don't enjoy and
Yeah.
why I enjoy watching them so much.
Right.
And I do watch them in little pieces usually.
Do you though?
I do. I watch a lot of them, but I'll watch 5 minutes,
Okay.
7 minutes. To you, it feels like an eternity
Eternity, it
because you
does,
can't
dude.
stand them. But to me, I'm genuinely interested also. I'm interested in some of the broadcasting analysis.
Yeah.
How Dan Corrigan, and listen, Dan Corrigan is not making millions of dollars off of YouTube.
No.
All right. He works full time at Keen Ramps doing straight up labor.
Sure.
He's a hardworking guy who is I really respect
Yeah.
that equation that he's running, and but Dan he films all of his stuff from the wrong angle. It's an aesthetically displeasing angle. Like it's best if your camera is slightly above you.
Yeah.
Ours right now is.
Yeah.
It could be higher. But
I think the wide angle is helping us probably.
Yeah, in order for it to be higher, we'll have to do some more Tetris, and we've got it right where we want it. Nothing on this ever works smooth.
Yeah.
Nothing
on here works smooth.
And Dan uses a terrible angle, and he knows it. He totally knows it. He did an episode in which he was like, "Listen, guys, I totally know it. You can keep commenting or not, but like,
Right.
I know I'm doing this wrong, and I love that."
Yeah.
I
too.
love that.
Me too.
And so now when I watch Dan Corrigan, I'm looking up his nose
Right.
and into his snaggle teeth.
Yeah.
You know, and he's such an aesthetically odd guy. He's
Right.
hairy and greasy, and
Yeah.
he's got stuff in his nose,
Yeah.
and he's got snaggle teeth ever
Yeah.
since he was a little kid.
Yeah.
And you're like looking at this guy, and you're like, he's doing this on purpose. Like,
Yeah.
It's like Andy Kaufman.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if you know about Andy Kaufman.
I don't.
He was a comedian back in the early days of Saturday Night Live, and he was just out of the world, dude.
Yeah.
Just constantly, like, put you on edge and freak
Right,
you out,
right.
and then it's a joke.
Yeah,
and,
right.
He did
Right.
this one thing in real life. He went in for a serious interview for a serious, like, thing,
Yeah.
and he put a fake, big old, what do you call it when you have a booger hanging?
A cliffhanger. or
He
whatever,
put a giant fake plastic booger
Yes,
in
yes.
his nose. And while the like Hollywood exec or New York exec
Yes, right.
was talking to him and then looked away, he pulled it out and switched it to the other side.
Yes, dude. That's awesome. That's awesome.
And he did it again and
Yeah,
again and
right.
it was so he was doing humor for himself.
Yeah, it was like for his own enjoyment.
He was so funny because he was having fun with it.
Yeah.
And it was a very sad life story, and it didn't stay on the rails, but that doesn't mean that there's not something there to pull from. And I see it with Dan. Like,
Yeah.
I see it with Dan. Haley Isaac is another one.
Yeah.
And Haley is interesting because Haley has a really funny voice. Do you know what I mean?
I am trying to remember what her voice sounds like.
Haley has one of those voices that I don't know how a person trains into their voice. I have a son who uses a very loud voice all the time.
Yes.
And he has a quiet one, but he always uses this loud one.
Yes.
And it's vocal habits.
Yeah.
Haley Isaac, her voice is like, well, we're out here at the skate park and we're and it's very loud and it's very funny.
Yes.
It's always at like the full top range.
Yes, I love it.
And I just think it's hilarious.
See, that stuff I actually like.
Love that.
I like it. Yeah, and
Love it.
I like that Dan has a big old snaggletooth and stuff. That stuff, it makes it better for me. It really does.
Yeah.
I like it.
A little coffee.
Yeah, why not?
Coffee's warm. This is a cold room.
Dude, it is.
We have to install a new window, and I want a storm door as the window because it's an old house. We put a storm door there. Then we can go out on the front porch top as a viewing patio.
Yes.
As a sniper perch.
Oh my gosh, dude. Oh my gosh. For all the sniper rifles.
Yeah. Well, this has been good.
Yeah.
We will post this up as a podcast on probably tomorrow, Monday.
Yep.
And we'll take it one thing at a time from here to there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it.
I'm happy.
Me too.
Well, for what it's worth, CapmLew.
Laters, boys.
Oh yeah.
We gotta end.
Oh, we're still on with Facebook.
Oh my gosh, you guys almost saw us go out of podcasting mode. What would have happened?
We are out of podcast. This is just us and one person on Facebook.
Hi, Brad.
Might be Brad.
See, the problem is, I feel like there's more people watching, but it says that 0 people are watching right now.
I never count.
But I don't understand it. Why would it say that there's 0 when I know that there is?
There are 0. It's fine. I don't even care.
Why does it?
I don't care if nobody watches it. It was making it that made me. There it is.
Oh, good. Go ahead.
What I like the most about making media is making it.
Yeah.
I'm talking from the idea that everything I do is recorded in the books and will be opened in the last day, and the real story will come out.
Sure.
And so even when I'm saying things, I know that even if I don't have it all right, that it will be all made right.
Yes.
And you get to try.
Yeah.
You get to try saying things.
Right.
And it's high responsibility, but it's also not without being really fun.
Yes.
And it is fun when you get feedback.
Yes.
Even negative feedback.
Yeah, I kind of hope we get more positive feedback. That'd be cool.
How do you feel about negative feedback?
It's fine as well. That gives us stuff to talk about.
I find it very interesting, the idea that we get negative feedback.
I don't think that we're saying anything that insane. I mean, we haven't yet, have we? I mean,
well,
a little bit spicy, but
we definitely have done our part to profile the abuse of minors by opportunistic and evil older people.
There is that.
And that's really seems to be a thing that's going on quite a bit.
Yeah. You know what's interesting? Sometimes, you get that pit in your stomach feeling when you see a negative comment and stuff. But as I get older, it's still there. But it gets less bad, it really does.
When the video stops processing, I'm going to pull up Happy Little Skateboards historical, which is my old Fickleboard stuff.
Yes.
I'm going to pull it up and I'm going to read you guys this one that I read that is like the classic kind of comment that used to just burn me.
Yeah.
I'm pulling up YouTube right now. I'm going to pull up Happy Little Skateboards. And it was on Happy Little Craft Made Skateboards. Is that the one? Yeah, this is it. Historical. Right. This is the old Fickleboards era. And I'll go to videos and I'll page down. No, you know what? I don't think it is on that, is it? Let's see. 2019. It was on the Heath Brinkley. No, it's on my present one. It's on my present one. My channel, CapmLew. And it's on the Heath Brinkley. I was heated. I was totally heated in this one. It was 9 Club with Heath Brinkley clip reaction, right?
Yes.
And I got super heated And there's a comment on it.
That by using a cheap garbage skateboard brand,
Yes.
they'll lure you into buying a hoodie, buying socks, buying a koozie.
I was so heated. I was so heated. And somebody on there commented, he goes, I don't think you know as much as you think you do.
Yes.
For effort, though. Okay, it's a
Yes.
very condescending.
Yes.
It's a very condescending. Who did that? I want to see who they are. I never looked. And I'm gonna view their channel. This channel doesn't have any content. 3 subscribers, no videos.
This is like an AI?
You see, this is the kind of channel that would come on and do these lurking class. I don't think you know as much as you think you do. A for effort, though. The nice try guys would come on, and instead of offering any substantive response, I would love it if people had substantive rebuttals. You know,
I know, dude.
That's
Come on,
that's
bro.
not what's going on
Don't be crazy.
in the world of skateboard media. Like, people are not going to offer any substantive interaction.
Yes.
They're not going to. And I'm just labeling episode 18. I'm going to do 4.
Don't. You're going to break it. Don't. Yeah.
No, I'm just going to go back and add zeros.
Oh, bro, don't. That's so
We're going to have
fun.
thousands of episodes. I can already tell.
Oh, my gosh.
I can.
We're in episode 18.
Skate Talk.
Perfect.
Saved it.
Or did it?
I'm going to publish it.
I dare you to.
Day of.
Wow.
Day of.
Look at how streamlined things are getting.
Frickin' published.
Think about the value.
He's going to be published. Jar Jar Binks.
Yeah, Jar Jar Binks. The worst character in Star Wars history.
JJ Binks.
JJ Binks, dude.
To Jar Jar crew.
Oh my gosh, dude. I gotta pee so bad in this live stream.
We're out of here. We're gonna go drink some coffee. We love y'all.
Later.
Peace.